What's up, everyone? Welcome to our first interview in our interview series. This is for our Saggin Flowers page, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited about this one. Like, this is an interview I've wanted for the longest time. This is actually a friend of mine. His name is Jeer, and I interviewed him. This was at the studio. Don't mind my setup because things are I'm just piecing it together right now. But setup's a little bad, quality might be a little bad, but the interview's really good. I really enjoyed this one. This is one I've been looking forward to for a minute now. Like, I can't even lie, I've really been looking forward to this one. So I hope you enjoy it. If we sound like we're in the middle of conversation, that's because we kind of are, because the audio got messed up. And before, this is kind of like me explaining, like, everything that's going on when you're actually about to watch it. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it even half as much as I enjoy interviewing him. This was a great one. Like, I'm so happy we get to start this one off like on a really good interview, because I don't know, I'm just really excited. So I hope you enjoy it. First, and hopefully a long list of many to come. Better quality definitely coming for sure. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the interview. Because a lot of times when artists are small, like the chances are limited. Do you feel like, especially with you being like, up and coming, like on your way, do you feel like sometimes, do you have to kind of have like keep that mentality of like you're never too big for anybody, or do you sometimes like feel like you got to be a little bit like, I don't want to say selfish, but like a little bit like thinking about your career first? Or do you,
honestly,
that person to work with anybody?
I feel like it hasn't really set in how like big I'm like starting to become, because at the same time I do be feeling like the same way I felt when I first started making beats, where I could just work with like anybody and it really not be
really anything.
Yeah, anything.
Right.
But now when it comes to like me doing stuff, I be realizing I'm in a whole different like position in my career where I got people asking me to do stuff that I would ask them to do, basically.
Right.
Like how when I first began, I like would send a lot of loops to people, like for me getting opportunities with them. Like now people are sending me loops to get opportunities with me. Like it's the opposite now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's actually a perfect segue to my next question, because I wanted to ask you, like, how do you manage, even with like things that are happening? Even when you were 18, you were featured on like one of the main Philly pages for music, and you're doing all these things, and like you're going and working with artists. Like, how do you maintain that like edge creative? Because music is a fast industry. Like, if you're not on, like, you could be on today and not be on tomorrow. So how do you feel like you keep like pushing yourself creatively when it comes to either beats or engineering or producing, even fashion? Like, how do you feel like you stay on and like you really feel like you keep that like Jeer edge?
I would say definitely just being on top of things, always trying to think of something new. Like never just settling for being like, oh yeah, I'm done, I'm not going to do this today. Like I always try to think of like another idea for me to push my like creative endeavors forward. Like one of the best decisions I made was really getting in the studio this year. Like hosting, like putting studio time available for like people to work with me. If I didn't have a platform like that or a studio like that for people to like actually come to me, a lot of relationships I built this year, a lot of opportunities I got wouldn't even have happened. And a lot of people wouldn't even know me. Like they would just know me as just the person on Instagram,
right?
Like the guy just in UBs. Like now it makes you like a known person in the industry that people can work with.
And how do you feel, like, how important is it? Has it been, like, hard for you to kind of get your name out there, because you feel like you're so dedicated to your craft, you just feel like it's really just, like, anything for me to be like,
come work with me? It definitely has been hard for me to get my name out there.
For real?
Yeah, it took me a long time to, like, do this. I've been working on music for, like, 6 years.
Oh, yeah. But, like, yeah, just a massacre. I feel that, though.
So I can definitely say, like, everybody who knows me, I had to, like, do something in order for them to know me, if that makes sense.
I feel that.
But like recently it started to get easier because I'm starting to get recognized of like stuff I'm doing. Like my flowers are starting to get handed me, I would say.
I feel that heavy, bro. And like I kind of want to ask as well, like, where do you see your career, going within like the next like even 2, 3, like 5 years? Like, where do you want to be? Like, first off, like, where do you see yourself being, and then like where do you really want to be?
Definitely I don't even know where I see myself being, because honestly I didn't see myself being this far and this like
even
and
just
I didn't see myself being this good at this like age of my career.
Right.
So I would say definitely I don't really like have a trajectory. I just know I'm gonna be doing even better than I am right now. And like where I go, my goal in the next 5 years, I'm trying to get a plaque of some type. I'm trying to get either a Billboard #1, either a silver plaque, platinum plaque. Like it don't matter, bro. I don't care.
You just want to get
something,
right?
Just a trophy, basically.
No, I feel you, bro. I feel that, bro. And having like goals and like high ambitions, that's really good, bro. Because you feel like you should, just always keep pushing yourself. And do you feel like sometimes like, are there ever days like you wake up, you just like, man, like I want to just like go get some food, like just throw on a good fit. I don't want to like touch the computer at all today. Like, how do you get through like those hard days, really?
I would say those days I feel like that I just don't force myself to make music, because I feel like everything you gotta treat music like everything needs a break. It's not good to do something all the time. So, like, I would always like think it was okay for me to just take an off day because I didn't really feel like making music today. But like, if I did take them off days, I had to make sure like when I got back to work, I need to like make up for those days I took off.
Right.
So like, I would be like, oh yeah, if I didn't make beats yesterday, now I gotta make like 10 beats or something like that, something crazy. Like a day I'm not doing nothing,
Right.
or
You
like
gotta come
sacrifice
back,
like
even
days
harder.
I'm not like, I'm just free just to dedicate them to music. You know what I mean?
Right, I feel what you mean, bro. And I kind of wanted to ask, like, now with, like, the gap semester going on and, you know, like, your life, obviously, the schedule changing, like, what is a typical day? Like, kind of walk us through from, like, start to finish. Like, what does a typical day for Jeer kind of look like?
So I would say a typical day. I'm reselling, so I'm either shipping or picking up orders, shipping them out. In my free time between that, I'm making beats. I also do work a job, so I got to do that too.
Right.
Maintain like my regular life on top of music. So, but if I'm in the house, I'm either making beats or I'm just like working on reselling. So yeah. And I use my money from my reselling just to invest in like my music.
And do you feel like a lot of your income really comes back to like, you know, investing in yourself, or do you feel like you?
I was definitely investing in myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely investing like the money I made off music back into like myself. Investing my money from doing from anything, other things like investing money from my reselling, my job, like just back into myself, so I can even get heard more, or put myself into positions where I can get more opportunities.
Was that natural, that kind of like mentality of like, you know, betting on yourself, or did you feel like that was like something that somebody like told you like, yo, if you really want to do it, like you really got like, you know, bet on yourself?
Definitely from studying people who did it before. Like everybody who I saw like who really had a name of doing what they were doing, like was investing money to themselves. Like people I looked up like DJ Drama. He definitely had to invest some money to get to where he is in his career.
Definitely, bro.
DJ Khaled spent a lot of money.
He spent a lot of money on
Kanye
himself.
West
He spent a lot of money flexing. Yeah.
Like you look back, Kanye first video cost like $13K. Like that's crazy.
That's wild to me, bro. And you speak, you know, highly about Kanye. You know, obviously he got his stuff outside the music, but like how important has, you know, looking at mentors like that been for you? Like how important has, you know, following their trajectory been, and like, you know, not copying it like play for play, but kind of like putting it back into yourself? Like, do you, even to this day, you know, now that you're in a bigger place, like, do you still go back and like still look at your favorite producers?
Yeah,
like
I watch Metro videos, Southside Cookups, like Lex Luger videos, like Pierre Bourne. Like I like this documentary a lot. Like I definitely do study like a lot of people who came up before me, because I feel like that's mandatory with anything you're doing. Like you need to study the greats.
Right. Like
your favorite basketball player, study a baseball player.
Literally.
Your favorite football player, study a football player. Like it's,
right.
Yeah.
Even like your favorite anything, like they always
they always have somebody to study, look up to.
Yeah. Who's like, and I kind of want to ask this too, because you were even talking about it like before the interview. You said that like, you know, people have, you know, above you have kind of come and like big broed and like, you know, played that role of like, yo, like if you're doing this, like watch out for this. So who did you felt been like your biggest like mentor throughout this whole thing, or like your biggest like, you know, your big bro when coming through?
Definitely. When I first started with Ike Beats, definitely he like.
How did he help you?
So my first studio session, I met him. He actually was the first person to invite me to a studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a studio before that?
No, I haven't. So I can tell that story how it even came apart.
Yeah, go ahead.
So some people around me, they knew the rapper Pound Side 5. Like they were in a circle and they like recommended him to me to work with me. So he texted me on Instagram one day. I was like 14 when he texted me.
Dang.
And I just went up to the DM. I'm like, why is he texting me? He's like one of my like favorite Philly rappers. I'm like, he just on my phone. So he like, he sent some beats. I sent him some beats, and we get to working basically. And he says, oh yeah, I should meet Ike Beats, which is Uzi's producer at the time. He produced 444 by Uzi, The Way Life Goes, Baby Pluto by Uzi. Like he did a lot of Uzi songs, like a lot of pop songs. He in his hands in the industry, like come on with a lot of people.
Right.
Like Josh Star, he helped his career get up the floor. Manuel Rico, he helped his career get up the floor. Basically, there's a lot of people saying at the same time. Like a lot of people at Philly were like doing their thing. Oh, what's her name? Nyla. What's her name? The girl who was just on the Brent Fires album. You know what I'm talking about? New York, LA.
Yeah.
I remember. He introduced her. Like I was like the first person she made a song with.
Wow.
Like he definitely played his role, like with putting me in positions to meet people.
So you've been there in the background, like a lot of people don't.
I've
like,
been there in the background,
but you've really been there like the whole
yeah.
time, right? Do you always feel like, you know, a lot of people say
I've been working with Pound Side for about 4 years now.
Dang.
Yeah.
And y'all are all like coming up together, it feels like.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
so
much.
special.
Like watching Manuel Rico, I watched Manuel Rico come up. I watched I remember Manuel Rico was in the same position that I was in a couple months ago.
Right.
Like it's
up,
like
just producing. Like,
it's like people passing the torch down to each other, basically.
Right. And do you feel like, especially, you know, in the state of like Philly rap and stuff like that, how important is like really passing the torch? Because some people, like, you know, especially in other cities, it can be this culture like somebody holds on to and like, you know, shuts themselves out from the city or like doesn't really associate with that. But like, how does Philly kind of differ from that when it comes to other cities?
I feel like Philly, even though I feel like it's two scenes of Philly. It's like an underground scene of Philly. It's like a drill scene of Philly.
I was just, that's crazy. I was just talking about that. I was just talking about that with my man.
It's not very together. It's a lot of division and factions.
Like,
everybody get what they got into. Mm-hmm. And there's like the underground scene. I feel like the underground scene of Philly is very together. Like everybody works together. Everybody tries to put each other over. But the drill scene of Philly is like they gang war every day.
I was just talking about that. I'm so glad you brought that up.
And it's funny. It's funny because like who I work with, I fall in like the middle of both.
Yeah, like you kind of work with rappers who are also drill. Then you work with like very, you know, underground, like very like influential,
out of like
heavy,
people
like
who
very
are like doing good in
experimental.
Philly, like the people who are doing the best in Philly are drill rappers.
Right.
So like I'm obviously gravitated
like,
towards working with them, and plus that was like those are the first people who even gave me a chance of working for real.
Yeah.
So
how has that been walking that line between underground and drill? Have you ever been like kind of look back sometimes and be like, where am I at? Or have you felt like you really owned that lane? Because you
I feel like I really own it. I feel like I really own that lane. I didn't never like. I just work with. I brung my sound to those artists. Even if you hear like a lot of my beats they hop on, it's not their typical beats. It's not their typical beats they hop on.
Do you feel like, how do you push yourself like even creatively? Like sometimes, how do y'all get in the studio? And like, has ever a time felt like, oh, maybe you can't like give this beat to this artist because not the flow?
No, I never had that problem because I always sold my beats online. So with me selling my beats online, I always knew like I had full ownership of my beats, so I can have anybody hop on any beat.
Right.
So yeah.
That's a pretty special talent because a lot of producers can't do that. Like,
yeah, like before I even got into like the whole industry route of working with people, I always was like on the route of turning like my music to a business. That's another thing. Like my mentor IB told me like when I first started out, he was telling me, oh yeah, you should always like look at this as another way to make money because like a lot of producers, it's funny because a lot of producers don't even end up making money off like none of their music in their career because they don't take that extra step to actually turn their music to a product.
Yeah, they just sell their beats. Or like they just, you know, give out their beats. They just make beats
and they do it for fun. And they get a couple songs with some people, they don't actually like do anything.
Right. And you also spoke to that. You said you actually have a job like outside of rap. So at one point at which point do you feel like you can kind of like leave that job and be like, all right, music is now like what I'm going to do like full time? Like where do you kind of, do you see yourself getting there like within this year? Like
that's
the next
the goal.
year? Like that's
I would say definitely within the next, I would say like 2 years I want to be at that point.
For real?
Yeah, I want to be at that point.
I feel like you can get there, bro.
I feel like definitely with stuff I'm doing on the side too.
For real?
Definitely, yeah, like when I'm doing reselling too, it definitely like one day it'll definitely like take over what I'm doing right now.
I kind of want to pivot back,
and especially with music, like when I start like, because I'm starting to get streams right now, people are starting to know me. Like if I really start like,
you got 11K on Spotify. Yeah, that's 11K,
which is crazy. I got that in 2 weeks.
That's wild, bro.
That's crazy. Did you imagine what I can do in a year?
When you that's what I'm saying, bro. When you drop, I kind of want to speak to that too because when you drop that lifestyle tape. In your head, were you thinking like these are the numbers it's going to do, or were you just putting it out there just to put it out there?
I didn't even think the tape was going to do good. I mean, I knew it was going to do good with the people on it, but I didn't know it was going to like do as good as it actually did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so surprised.
Like it just dropped and like just blew up.
You like keep surprising yourself by your own success, and a lot of people like don't do that. Like a lot of people, you know, like. Especially like rappers, they have like people around them telling like projections and things like that.
I didn't have no projections. Like I just did it myself.
That's why I feel like it's so special because you feel like you just put like it feels like art almost like at the purest form. You know what I mean? Because especially like a lot of like art now can be like, you know, like you a part-time rapper, like full-time content creator almost like you always like pushing the next thing or something like that. But for you, it's like pure on the music. Did you feel like it was going to be like this, or did you feel like, you know, you just kind of came in doing like, let's just do what's fun, let's just feel like do what's right?
It was more like me just doing it for fun. I didn't think it would be like, I knew eventually like music would start getting to this point where like it would become something seriously, but I didn't think it would happen the way it did.
Right.
Like I just thought it would just be a regular tape I just put out, and people like gravitate to. And they because I seen like 100 people put out tapes, but I didn't think mine was anything special. Like,
that's so, bro. I'm just so surprised because you like the way like you even speak about yourself. It's always like, oh, it's just like nothing special. But like to every like, you know,
everybody
to people around
like,
you, it's gonna be like that's crazy what you're doing, and you managed to keep that. Do you feel like you do put an emphasis on keeping that, you know, like level-headedness and groundedness, and do you have like people around you who are also keeping you like down, like, you know?
I would say definitely because like the fact that I'm so grounded, I don't really get caught on everything. I feel like I look at things with like a third-person perspective too.
Kind of speak about that. What you mean by third-person perspective?
So like, I know that I'm not too stuck in my own moment. Basically, I know that if I don't follow up with something after this, I'm not going to be able to maintain the same level where I'm at right now.
Right.
That's why I'm always trying to like work towards like the next thing. Like right now, I'm working with I'm not sure if you know DJ Fat.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him, I'm working on my next tape, getting like hosting. Like me and him, we're gonna co-host a tape together.
Wow.
I'm working with like right now picking up artists who I can like finally get on that tape.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically just people in Philly who I can like try to either help their situation and give them some limelight, or who's gonna help like project me to that next level.
Who's some artists you looking at right now? If you can release that, I don't know if you can.
Right now,
say, but
definitely Daystar. Which Daystar, he's not with us right now. He did get incarcerated for something.
Free him.
But he was definitely an artist who's been with me since the beginning of my career. So a lot of songs that we did are together on that tape.
And you do have a song with Daystar on that tape as well.
Yeah, he was on both of my tapes. Mm-hmm. He actually made my favorite song on that tape. I remember I made that session like I made it be in like 5 minutes, and we made it be in the studio.
5 minutes?
Yeah, I made it be in like 5 minutes. I made it in my headphones. I didn't even like it wasn't even like a real sit down like beat like that.
You just kind of like made it for fun.
Yeah.
Do you have beats like that? Like, what's like? I kind of want to walk through like that producer like process. Like, do you make?
I would
beats
say like my
quickly?
beats that I take the most time on don't really end up being like the beats that become the iconic beats. Like most of my iconic beats are beats that either I made like the sample for and then sent out and did not think anything of it,
right?
Or like a beat that I made like 5 minutes, like that really just came together and somebody hopped on it. Like it was a beat in a session I had to rush and put together for the moment.
Yeah.
Not really something that was planned.
Do you feel like creatively like that's even the way you work? Like the best work for you just comes from like off the cuff, like things you're not thinking about? Like do you feel like if you spend too much time on something,
I feel like if I think too much about a thing, or I'm trying to like if I do something with the hopes of getting something out of it, usually it doesn't work in the way I want it to do. So like when I do things in the hopes of like just doing it to do it, like out of my passion, it turns out the best.
That's great, bro. Like, that's amazing. That's great. And I kind of want to, even speak about that a little bit. But for now, I kind of want to pivot back to reselling. Kind of walk us through that, like, reselling process. Because do you have your own reselling business? Like, that's a thing you do?
Yeah, that's
like,
what I do,
yes. From the side. So, like, how did you kind of first start, like, getting into that? Because obviously, reselling is, like,
I always just order stuff offline, like, off eBay, McCurry, and all that. Like, secondhand. I was thrifting a lot, too. Mm-hmm. So... Like, I first started out just buying stuff from thrift stores, buying for low and selling for high. Then I moved on, like, buying things from, like, I brought Jordans on the drop, so I would buy, like, my first real shit that I really, like, flipped a lot was the Jordan 12s, the flu games. I bought about 7 pair of those on drop day. And I flipped all 7 in the same day.
Dang.
And, like, at that point, I knew, like, oh, yeah, reselling could definitely be, like, something I can do on the side. So, with that, I started buying, like, lots of people on Facebook. eBay, McCurry, like just getting a bunch of like things in for me to resell and flip for profit.
I feel that, bro. And
definitely like now I'm just like starting to move more shoes. Like I'm about to buy a lot right now. A couple of shoes I'm about to flip for profit. So
that's hard.
It's always just something like I'm always thinking of a new way to put myself. Not always, but like a business like oriented type person. I always would make money on the side. So I've tried like a bunch of things. I tried drop shipping. I've tried like I told you, I tried, like my other business I tried, but it's the clothing brand too.
Right.
Clothing brand dropshipping was like the main two things I tried to do, and then like reselling was a stick.
Do you see yourself coming back to owning a clothing brand, or do you see yourself?
No, definitely. That's like that was definitely the whole like what I was doing right now. Like all the money I'm making off reselling, I'm trying to invest in my clothing brand to like come back very strong.
Do you have like something that works right now? You can tell.
Yeah, I do have a couple designs. I had a design that I actually did have made up.
Okay. So
I can show you on there, but I'm not sure they probably can't see. They can't see
it, but you can show me on the side. Don't worry after the interview. But like now that I want to say like what, I just feel like I had a question. What's like the main vision? Like how do you combine like the music with like the fashion? Because it's really easy. Do you feel like you could even become like, like that, almost like a culture? I don't want to say like icon, but like a really culture like figure, especially coming out of Philly. Like is that like one of your main goals?
I mean, I feel like that was also strategic because originally my brand did start out as merch, not necessarily merch, but it started as something to sell to people because people knew me off music. So I was like, oh yeah, I can sell music to people who know me. I can sell music to people who know me. I can sell clothes to people who know me off my music, and that turned into me selling stuff to people in real life, and then it turned into me just overall being somebody who just like came out and started getting fashion. So yeah,
I feel that, and obviously now you've come, you know, you dressed out, you got the hat on, you got the
and I always
jewelry
been
on,
in the fit. I always been in like little like underground things, like little stuff that people are into. Like I was in the brands like undercover in high school. I was buying stuff like Margiela in high school, like little stuff like that. Stuff like people really wasn't wearing.
Right.
For real.
And like they just couldn't guess. Like
Rick Owens, I was buying Rick Owens in high school too. Like I brought the Rick Owens, like the Doc Martin Rick Owens. I remember that was like the first like real pair of Ricks. I brought that joint like 9th, 10th grade. I was wearing Ricks. Yeah.
So you've been up on it since like forever. For like you really.
Yeah, like, I really was trying to like really get into stuff. Yeah.
Do you want to like?
I didn't really know how to like style stuff. I knew how to style it then.
I'm crying, bro. You really been, and I feel like that's a trend, especially for like a lot of creatives. They're up on like things like people aren't even looking at. Do you feel like even with the music, like you just try to like find like when you're listening to like sounds or like when you're sampling, do you try to like make sure you're finding stuff like nobody else can find?
Yeah, I
like
always try to do like little things that people don't know about because I feel like those things are special. Like when it's like. It's crazy because like when you say that thing with like creators being like things that people don't even know about, that like stuff like that builds like relationships between people like and like the creative industry. Like we share a lot of similarities and stuff like we're into. It's funny. Like I know like somebody who I really built a relationship off of. Like me and my videographer, or he's a videographer. He also I modeled for him a couple times. His name is Lil Yak. He owns the brand Lovers of Crawler Boys, and it's like Lovers of Nightmares. But like my interest with him really means like build a strong relationship, like between all the shit that I didn't even curse on here. Between all the stuff that we're into, like we built a strong relationship off that. Yeah. Another person who like in fashion who helped me was the brand owner Trip for President. Like we came up from like the same area basically, and his brand was like something I saw everybody wearing. I was like, he was the first person in Philly who was into stuff that I was into. Right. That I saw who was like so close to me, if that makes sense. He's like somebody who was like really from my neighborhood who like was just in the stuff I was into. It was always different to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. That's wild, bro. Okay, so as
and like I saw what he was doing. I was like, I could do something similar to this. I could start a clothing brand and like market it like in the same style, and basically like people would mess with it because I didn't know it was a group of people who messed with that in Philly, basically.
And like especially, you know, I've heard that especially because it's like people will, you know, kind of like go out to other cities. They'll go to New York, they'll go to Chicago, they'll go to LA to kind of find people like in the underground, and they'll be from Philly. Do you feel like you really don't have to like leave the city to?
No,
feel like
you don't. I feel like this city has a very strong like underground scene. Yeah, like you can definitely meet people and build a name. It's crazy because like we're getting to the point where we're like actually having like real shows. Like I know a show I just went to a couple months ago. It was if you know the artist Brody Senpai, Miles Chancellor, Mela Rico also did DJ at that show. Right. But that show was at the Fillmore. Like you don't even recognize like how big that is for
the Fillmore is huge for underground.
Yeah,
like,
for underground artists who aren't even like really like having a name like that. People got like 1,000 followers on Instagram, like regular people basically. Yeah. To be able to perform at the Fillmore and have an actual show, and we actually packed it out. Like that show was like.
It was packed out?
Yeah, it was packed out. Like, we actually, like, we doing stuff like that to where we're, like, branching the gap between underground, like, industry. And it's all of, like, organic, like, people listen. It's not off of, like, label ran.
Or, like, marketing.
Yeah, label ran marketing artists, like, actual people
like
who are, like, actually messing with the music.
Fans, like, really just people
who like, genuine fans, too.
I feel that, bro. Do you feel like... What do you feel like the underground in Philly is going to look like, you know, a couple years? Because it's always like, even, you know, like 5 years, 6 years ago, it wasn't always like this. So do you feel like it's only just going to keep getting bigger as people just
I feel like it only is going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Because you see, like, artists, like, who are bigger coming to, like, Philly to work with us. Like, we just had T Grizzly there. Well, he's not even somebody who's underground, but he came down here to work with some of the artists in Philly. Right. And these aren't even, like, people like Meek Mill. Like, these are, like, really artists in Philly. Like, we got Bossman D-Lo working with Quanny. Right. Like, people who are branching to get between that crazy industry, like, success and Philly artists. Like, really bringing people out. Like, Trippie Redd and Poundside Pop. That's a crazy combo right there.
Because Poundside Pop really
Pop really was just a Philly artist. You got Trippie Redd coming down here to really work with him. Like, it's like little things like that, yeah.
I feel that, bro. Do you feel like you can be one of the ones, especially kind of now, to kind of, like, really put that
even like on, like, I ain't in control, but even me as an example, I'm working with Fimiguerrero, who's somebody who's really like popular in the UK. Like I say, he got 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and I found a way to work with him and really like branch that gap between Philly and
the world.
Yeah, the world. Like I got Fimiguerrero and OT7 Quanny on the same tape. People don't know
that hasn't happened before. Yeah. That's so special to me, bro. And I actually want to, you know, give you your flowers on that because a lot of people don't really realize like. it's like a lot of times the Philly sound doesn't leave the city. Like that happens so much, and that happens with LA artists, and like Chicago artists. Like it can
Yeah,
be
like you see people
really
getting
hard to,
too
like,
focused on Philly as being the world, not actually the whole world being music.
right, and they just get focused on like the
Yeah,
side
they get
tracks or
focused
whatever.
on their neighborhood and not people. The whole like they think of local, not global, basically.
Yeah. I feel like they want to. For them, like taking over the block is better than like taking over like the world,
taking over the
like
whole
that.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it can be kind of like that. But you know, you're one of like the ones, you know, obviously like you know a lot of y'all out there, but like you're one of the ones that really like you know see it globally and like see that you know vision.
I feel like I got that vision from me selling beats on YouTube because, like, even like with me selling beats on YouTube, like my main like audience of people who are buying my beats weren't even from Philly. I really had people from like Russia listening to my beats, like people from California, like people from everywhere.
Talking about like,
now I'm talking to them online, like
2,000
just
miles
casually
away.
trying like just to work with them. Like a lot of my real relationships in the industry where I got places to weren't even like people from who I met in person, like just people I met through my phone, just through Instagram, just networking through people.
I feel that, bro.
So like I would say, I definitely did see like the global potential of music before I saw like the local potential of music, if that makes sense. Because I was making money on people who never even see my face.
Right. No, I feel that, bro. Yeah, that's like really what it is, especially with the internet coming up and you know things like that, and everybody you know having a voice like that, and you know, kind of y'all speaking like obviously like Molly Raw and people like that, producers, they've already been put on, but for y'all coming up like anything can really happen because you have
and I
people
feel
like
like
collabs all
definitely
over, that's, like,
the
never
way
really
like
happened before.
that we come up now is definitely a lot easier for you to get on than it is back then.
100%,
Back then, I feel
bro.
like you had to like really. I'm not saying earn it,
but like really know,
but you really had to know the people to get on.
to really.
And I
but
feel like
you
right
don't
now
have
it's
to.
still like that, but you can still finagle your way in there by doing like the online route.
Right.
Which I feel like I did a combination of both. Like I definitely knew people in the industry.
I was about to say you really
And I
did do a
definitely
combination
did, like,
because you were
a
plugged in,
combination
but
of both,
like
like,
you
knowing
were
people
online
online,
too
like,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah, I feel that, bro. I mean, like I want to keep going personally. I would, but my time is wrapping up here in the studio. But my last question to you, my final question is: do you have any advice for kids looking to do what you're doing, or even like that 14-year-old, that 15-year-old who's making beats in their bedroom online? Like, how do they, you know, get plugged in and like keep going and run with their vision, and, like stay creative?
I would say definitely better yourself and just keep going. Like, even if you're not seeing anything out of it, just keep going because one day the work that you put in will be noticed. And I can attest to that. Like, I put out over 1,000 beats on BeatStars, YouTube, all that.
to get to where you are right now.
Yeah, and I didn't even expect nothing like to really happen off of it. And I'm seeing like the flowers of my work coming right now.
I feel that, bro, heavy. This has been Jeer, producer, engineer, writer, and hopefully next Philly superstar. We're going to watch his trajectory. We're going to be excited. Jeer, thank you for coming through, bro. I appreciate that. And all the best, all good luck in your career, bro. And I hope that, you know, you have an amazing career from here. Hopefully he come back to Temple, come slide with us to a couple parties, come out with us. I mean, I would love for him to come out with us.
No, I'm coming back. I'm coming back during the summer.
I appreciate that, bro. And all the best, bro. But this